Guys, let's talk injuries and what do we learn from them. Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Rasa the dancer is here, and I have a lot of people ask me on this channel in the comments that I would talk a little bit more about my injuries and also what I have learned from them and how do I look after my body now because of all of those things. I guess a lot of people getting injuries while dancing and stuff, and they want to know a little bit more about it. I have shared few things here and there during my channel, my YouTube channel process. However, today in this video, I'll be extremely specific. I'll name all of my injuries. I will tell you how I got them. I will tell you how my life have changed and what do I do to prevent more injuries and so on and so forth. So we're gonna have fact, event, date. Maybe not exact date, I can't remember exactly when it happened, but you know, you're gonna get a little bit more of understanding what is happening with this body right here in front of you. So I hope you can relate, and also maybe if you can't relate, you can learn from what I'm about to say in this video, and so we're all gonna be a little bit healthier and happier. So let me share a little bit more about my body and my injuries. When you are a professional dancer, it is normal to have some sort of injuries like minor ones, pull a muscle, or you know, have a little bit of uncomfortable shoulder, stiff neck, this and that, muscle spasms, you know, all kinds of knots and stuff, because our job is working the body every single day. And I started when I was very little with ballroom when I was 4, little gap in between, then started with salsa and bachata later, and I've been doing it for about 6 hours a day every single day, and you know, so on and so forth. And I started back those days when I started, there was no like YouTube channel situation where you can get some information. And back in the day in Lithuania when I did ballroom, you know, the teachers used to beat us with sticks and light our hands on fire. So there was no such thing as, hey, you have an injury, maybe if you look after it, you actually gonna last longer and perform better. It was more like, toughen up, you need to do it now, and nobody cares about your pain and how long you're gonna last in your dancing career. So start saying that, keep in mind all of the things I'm gonna say to you is because I didn't know any better. Now you have much greater information, sources all around besides just your teachers or whoever you're talking to. You just online, you can find the right information. And also, you know, we talk about so much about you do the right thing and you're gonna last longer. So yes, you can push through now, but then later you won't be able to last longer. So there's also longevity that comes in play. So you can actually be a dancer for longer or enjoy activities that you love that are very maybe intense to your body for longer if you recover better. So all of that, you know, we know now, and we can do better. But all of my stories are gonna come now are from a background where you do it now and nobody cares whether you recover or not. So the first great injury that actually shaped my course of dancing as I know it was when I was doing kind of like a competition thing with my partner, and we were preparing a show, and there was a trick where he throws me in the air and I'm supposed to do like a little flip and start landing with my head with my legs open, and my partner didn't catch me and my head went down and click, and basically I have 3 slip discs in my neck now for the rest of my life. So what did that mean? First, the problem was that I'm in general, I can tolerate pain very well. And that was my problem number 1. I went to the doctors and they kept on prescribing me painkillers or, you know, masseuses or like physiotherapy or this or that, but nobody gave me scans. I asked for them in UK. I kept on asking, please scan me, I don't think this is right or whatever. But they kept on saying, it's just probably an injury that's lingering, this and that, whatever. So I wasted a whole year until somewhere in the mid of year, and I was constantly in pain. There was no one day that I wasn't in pain, but I can tolerate it. Hence why they just assumed probably that it's just like a mild pain or whatever. But my body was in pain constantly. Later I started getting numb in my left hand, and tingling sensations, which means that basically your spine nerve is being compressed and you're getting numb in your other parts of the body, in this case my arm. And I went back to Lithuania, and my mother signed me up in Lithuania for scans because nobody gave me. And the scans that I could have paid in UK, then there was such a big waiting list, and I was getting like such discomfort and so much pain that it was like, I need to do it now. So I went to Lithuania, got the scans, and of course the surgeon says, okay, well, look at those discs, 3 discs, blah, blah, blah. I don't remember, C something, blah, blah, blah. And then he's like, well, you know, the only option you have here is we have to operate and we have to put the metal plates in there. And I was like, what does that even mean? It's like, well, you know how we do in sensual bachata, all of the neck rolls? Forget about it, kind of thing. And I was like, no way, Jose. And he's like, well, there is no other choice. And I was like, well, I'm still walking. So, you know, I feel like until I'm, you know, bounded by the bed, I don't need the surgery. Like, if I can say no to a surgery, I don't need the surgery, you know, because it's not like it's cancer or something, you know, that you have to take it out. It's like I can put those plates later, you know what I mean? And he says, yeah, you can wait until, you know, you're in pain and you can't walk if you want to, or we can do it now. I was like, no, definitely I'm going to wait till I cannot walk. In the meantime, I found a specialist also in Lithuania who specifically specializes in slip discs. And basically he changed my life. He assessed my body, my alignment, my spine, how I sit, how I can reach, you know, certain positions, what is my placement, how my neck is really long in general, how I need to tilt it in, how I walk, all the things that are not good for my body, the things that I do and how I hold myself. And he told me what I need to do, and then gave me specific exercises, literally like 5 or 6 exercises that take me 10 minutes a day, but I have to do it every single day, right? At that point, I'm already like in pain, whatever, and he says you have to do it through pain, like different kind of stretching exercise, everything on the floor, all the exercise on the floor, nothing standing. And he's like, no matter how much pain you're in, you do it every day, 10 minutes a day. I was like, okay, I do it. I mean, it's desperate times, right? Through the pain, I do it. 3 months later, no pain. Now, this is not cured. Every time a little bit sharper pull, too much of movement, some sort of strain, I'm too tired, or I'm something, or my immune system is down and I'm a little bit, immediately I feel it. Sometimes more, sometimes less. Very rarely so painful that I need a painkiller, but I feel it. So whenever you see me, you know, standing more on the side of the dance floor rather than dancing, it's probably my neck. I'm trying to protect it, to not make it worse, because it's already playing up. And very rarely I get tingling in my hand. Very, very rarely. But I do my exercises every single day, 10 minutes a day. And basically what we can learn from this story first, dancing is serious business. Be careful with the tricks where you land with your head. Number 2, it's very important to hear many different opinions. A lot of the times surgeons will suggest to operate, and a lot of the times they're right. But if you can hear other opinions, and if you have the luxury of trying other ways to help yourself before you go that route, I truly recommend it. It saved my life. And you know, who knows, in the future maybe I will still need to operate, we don't know. But the fact that I'm still managing to have a dance career and do these things that I want to do, it's mind-blowing by doing 5 exercises on the floor 10 minutes a day. Come on, people. And it's just by seeing somebody who truly knows about and specializes in that one specific thing, and I've seen many different results from many different people, and you just do the work. Of course, every single day you have to do the work, but you do the work, you get the results. So I think that's the great story in general. If you can avoid doing stupid things like I did, avoid it. But otherwise, if something like this happens, see the specialist and try different things before you go under the knife. Okay, another injury that I have is 2 in 1. I ripped this leg in 3 places and this leg in 3 places, okay? So it's again story basically performing, landing in splits, probably haven't warmed up properly when I did it, came out of it badly and I ripped it. So the first one was this one, and this one was really bad, and this one it was less bad. I don't know why exactly. It was more like a tear, like a little tears, so they healed. And because this is the second leg, I already knew what to do with it, so I looked after it really well. This one was really difficult. 3 months I couldn't walk, like literally I couldn't pee, I couldn't go to the toilet, I couldn't put on my underwear. I mean, it was very bad. But what can you do? But so what happened here, I still have a huge lump here, like inside. If you touch it, I wish you could touch it, there's a huge lump in there from the way the tissue grew back, because it was the first time I ripped it, and I probably didn't stretch well enough, because it's so important to rest it but then start moving it and then start stretching it. But every time you're stretching it, it feels like it's gonna tear again, so you're afraid, and it's really hard to do it properly yourself, because you don't know, you feel like you're overdoing it, but maybe you're not doing it enough, because the feeling is like it's gonna tear again. So what I did, I got consultation, and then I looked after it myself, which I should have. Again, this is something you could learn from. At least once a week or once in 2 weeks, keep seeing the person and keep checking it. I checked it once, I got information, and then I was like, well, I guess I'm ready now. That was it. I never checked it again. It is stupid, okay? It's my upbringing, okay? So this is something you could learn, don't do it all yourself. Keep doing the checkups to make sure you're monitoring the process, because you could be left with the lump inside and grown tissue, it's just weird. But this one, I looked after it better. I've learned from this one, but something's not right with it. I don't know what, but there's always, this leg is the bad leg, my right leg. But maybe because I'm working it more, as a dancer, you like in salsa, most of your spins are on your right foot. Maybe that's what it is as well. It's underneath my buttocks. There's always that kind of a bit of a rip, a little bit of a tear, a little bit of, I feel like when I'm stretching, it's harder to stretch it. Everything is harder around that area there. So because of those things that I had, the tears and the rips, it's very difficult for me to do the splits. So I have to train every single day. I leave it not training for a week and it's like it's gone. I get very stiff very quickly, and also those muscles underneath, they connect the buttocks and it goes around the hips. So whenever it's tight in the hips, it's tight underneath. If it's tight underneath, it's tight around the hips, and it's just excruciating painful sometimes. So I have to be like constantly stretching, because the moment I don't stretch and it gets a little bit more tense, I suffocate. It's really, really painful. Sometimes more painful than the neck. So it's just stretching and whatever. So again, with splits, it's performing is what I do. And if you're doing any kind of splits, sometimes, you're really good at it and you think you don't need the warm up, or you think you're warm enough. You need to follow the procedure. How many of what you do, warm up and stretching, to know that you did exactly what you need to do, and not just what you think that is enough. Because I thought I warmed up, I'm warm, yeah, I stretch, it's enough. And it wasn't. Yes, you gotta follow through whatever the time period you need to do your stretches, like you always do. You have to follow through no matter what. And also when you're performing, sometimes you're gonna land badly and things just happen, So you have to do the best you can, and then if you're performing, things just happen. But you need to make sure you put in the time. And if something happens, keep the checkups going with the professionals who can help you with the process of recovery, and don't just be like, oh, I can do this myself. Don't. You're gonna walk around with limps and kind of weird things that cramping your hips. So learn from my mistakes. Oh my god, okay, I'm gonna tell you the final one. The reason I forgot to tell you that as a first one maybe is because it's not an injury anymore. Okay, but it was an injury. I had it, but it's not anymore. Like, it has no effect on my life right now. But I'll show you. My battle wounds. Okay, I don't know if you can see it on camera or not, but there's this scar here. So this was as well fun. I was practicing with my dance partner at a time, and we were practicing for a show that's gonna happen a week later. Okay, and we're practicing in front of the mirrors, of course, and it's a coffee grinder. For those who don't know what a coffee grinder in salsa is, when you are down and the partner is above you and he's spinning you like this, and then you start coming up as a coffee grinder, pop, yes? And me and my partner, we were so good at it. The speed, it was all about the speed for us, and the speed that we would accomplish would be amazing. And we were practicing, and his hand slipped. And I was midway high, and as his hand slipped, I went straight into the mirror, and with this hand, I stopped my face from going into the mirror. But from all of the momentum of the coffee grinder, and my arm was going up like this elbow went straight into the mirror, and all of the glass went inside. And I already knew, like, it wasn't painful, but I already knew this is bad. I held my hand immediately like this, you know, and I could feel the blood pumping. It's like, I knew. Guys, sorry if it's very expressive. I knew this is bad. I asked him to call, you know, the hospital immediately, and I was like, can you just have a look? Is it really, really bad? And I looked at him, and he's a black man, and he turned white. Okay, so I was like, okay, call hospital. I sat down, I started fainting, you know, and it's like I was passing out because I was losing blood so much. And but the doctors, the emergency ambulance came quicker than I could have ever thought, and you know, they put me in the car, they gave me oxygen, whatever, you know, and they gave me the laughing gas so that it wouldn't be painful. And then they took me to the hospital, you know, they were cleaning up, and the doctor was saying, you know, you can have stitches, and then you will not have, once they clean the glass and stuff, you can have stitches and you're not gonna have a scar, but if you have stitches, you cannot perform. Or we can slice off this meat, and you know, there's more chance to perform, because when you're bending the arm, you know, from the stitches it would go like this, right? But from, if it's just healing, it might not go ksh, ksh. So I said, cut it off, and I performed. So there you go. My story. What have we learned from this? When you're practicing in front of the mirrors spinning, make sure you're not very close. You always have distance. Now, till this day, I have paranoia about this. If I'm practicing, or I see my students coming close to the mirror, when you're doing styling or whatever, or footwork, it doesn't matter. But if I see them doing 10 patterns and they're very close to the mirror, I always say back away, because I'm paranoid, you know, because if I manage to do this, so can anybody else. And yeah, practice away from the mirror when you're spinning. And also, you know, I recommend stitches. Performing that night was not that important, but for some reason, again, my upbringing, no, there is no way I'm gonna miss a show over this, cut off my meat. But you know, it's okay. It's not even a very visible place. So that's my final story. Ta-da! Thank you for listening. I really hope that that's going to help you in some sort of way to have a little bit of perspective. And most importantly, remember that your body is healthy now, but it takes very little to just a moment and suddenly something bad happens that you have to live with for the rest of your life. And always remember, when you are young, if you're young, you seem like you're gonna last and you're invisible, but the injuries creep up also. If you don't have any like dramatic events, they creep up along the way. Your knees, your hips, your all kinds of situations, they will creep up on you. So if you just go without thinking and damaging your body and doing all kinds of crazy things and thinking everything is gonna be okay, make sure you don't regret those decisions later. Look after yourself, speak with professionals, have regular checkups, and make sure you're living in the 2023 23 or 24, you know, and you have all of that knowledge. So make sure you keep pumping that knowledge so to make the best decisions for your body and not live in the olden times where you just keep powering through. Yes, guys, I made this video because you asked me to. Leave a comment if you have any injuries and you're dancing and you're struggling with it. Maybe we can have a conversation about that too, guys. Mwah! And I'm leaving you more videos here to check out about me and my life.